Welcome to the Pivot Experience podcast, where leadership transformation isn't just a concept, it's a journey we take together. This is where real leaders share real stories about the moments that changed everything. In each episode, we dive deep into the pivotal experiences that transformed good leaders into great ones. Whether you're a seasoned executive, a rising star in your organization, or someone ready to take that next big step in your leadership journey, you're in the right place. Get ready to learn, grow, and maybe even find that spark that ignites your own leadership pivot. This is the Pivot Experience podcast, where your next breakthrough starts here.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your friend, Pastor John R. Adolph from the Antioch Church in Beaumont, Texas. Hey, listen, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe this channel so you can continue to pivot into your next.
How are you guys doing today? And welcome to Lead Better. Lead Better is our interactive leadership development sessions that we try to host on every fourth Sunday of the month. And on today's Lead Better, we have a very special guest with us today. But before we do that, we want you guys to leverage that chat function as much as possible during this session. We can do that by saying where you're from. If you're working at a Chick-fil-A, put what Chick-fil-A you're working from, because we definitely want to know where you guys are joining us from and how you guys are participating with us. Additionally, any questions or anything that comes up during this session that you feel is important to you or adds value to your leadership journey, put it in the chat. We like to highlight those comments as you guys have them come up during the session. Also, this session is recorded, and so we do record the sessions for marketing and promotional purposes, and so just to let you guys know that is happening. Really quickly, the TPE, the Pivot Experience, is a coaching and consulting business where we help leaders pivot into their next. And on this team, we have myself. My name is Alex Seal. I've had the pleasure of working for the world's most caring company now for the last 23 years. And during that time, I've had the chance to meet and a bunch of incredible leaders and create a lot of great relationships. And a lot of those relationships have presented themselves in our business today. We have 4 incredible coaches here. I'll start off with Abram Moon, who is the newest coach in our business. Abram comes from Fredericksburg, and he has his bachelor's degree in business administration from The Point University. He is also right now in the process of interviewing to become an operator. And so we're wishing Abram the best of luck in that journey. And we're fortunate enough to have him here at the Pivot Experience as a leadership coach. Up next, we also have Neftali Franco. We lovingly call him our Swiss Army knife. He does a little bit of everything for us. He really specializes in the area of bilingual coaching. And so those of you guys who have Spanish-speaking leaders on your team, Neftali is the person for you. And actually now he has a little bit more capacity. So if you're thinking about somebody who speaks Spanish on your team and needs some coaching, he'll be definitely available to you. And he also has 10 years worth of leadership experience with Chick-fil-A as well. We have Ashley Allison on our team as well, she's closing in on 10 years worth of experience. She has her bachelor's degree in business administration. And she really holds these things together. She is the glue that keeps our organization running here at TPE. And we really appreciate everything that Ashley does. And last but certainly not least, Giovanna Roach, who has she has over 20 years, almost 24 years worth of experience with the world's most caring company. She also holds a bachelor's degree as well. And she is a key cog in what we do here at the TPE, really focusing on helping people sharpen those communication skills as they get ready to embark upon getting into LDP, getting into TDP, applying externally. She does a fantastic job in that. And she also partners with us in doing leadership coaching as well. So, and just to give you guys some insight on some of the things that we've done here are a few of the reviews that we've received from some of the operators that we've had a chance to work with here in the state. Of course, we were repping for the home team here. These are a bunch of Texas operators, but we've done work all across the country, so we're not limited to just Texas, but we can serve any Chick-fil-A in the area or any restaurant in general in the area as well. And so really quickly, I kind of touched on this in the beginning of the session, but what is Lead Better? Lead Better is, again, our free virtual session where we provide relevant leadership topics and information, and we like to bring on guests to speak into those matters to help you pivot into your next. And whether that's you're in the restaurant right now, working in a leadership position, you're thinking about becoming a restaurateur, and you're thinking about becoming an operator, learning different skills and different topics that will help you become better at that work is what we specialize here during Lead Better. And on today's Lead Better, we have a very special guest by the name of Peter Lopez III. I ran into Peter on LinkedIn, and he had a great presence online, and I like what he was doing. He has his own coaching and consulting business as well. I met him. He was first in Phoenix. Now he got some sense, y'all. I'm just kidding. He's now here in Texas. He's in Dallas. He's joined Chick-fil-A here in Dallas, and so we are just appreciative to have him on with us today. And I know a lot of you guys who have signed up to be a part of today's Lead Better, hang tight to the end, and that's how we're going to give you guys the instructions to be able to get that free month of coaching. It's okay. And so, Peter, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, doing great, doing great. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you guys, man. How exciting. Thanks for all the information too. Love it.
Oh, yes, for sure. Of course. And so we have an icebreaker that we like to do here at TPE called Tug of War. But before we do that, I would like to open up the floor to you to be able to give a brief bio about who you are, what you're about, and just what you got your hands on these days.
Oh, yeah. So to understand a little bit about me, I have been in leadership positions now throughout the course of my career for probably, we're going to be pushing, 25, 28 years now of leadership experience. The first 20 of 24 of those years were in not-for-profits, whether it be as a CEO, executive assistants, directors, executive directors. About 4 years ago, I transitioned away from the not-for-profit into the world of Chick-fil-A. Absolutely fell in love with it. I love the world of Chick-fil-A. And the thing about the world of Chick-fil-A is it also challenged me, right? Chick-fil-A cares about people. Chick-fil-A cares about the community. It's always striving to develop, to grow, and to be better. And so that's really what allowed me to sharpen up my development skills with the leaders within the restaurant that I was working with, starting even to grow myself by pursuing certifications in leadership coaching and leadership development and leadership speaking. And then ultimately in 2023, launching Elevated Leadership Group, like you previously mentioned, that now works with leaders kind of like you pretty much across the US. And glad to be in Texas now, though, and am assisting specifically with Chick-fil-A at Justin Road in Flower Mound, Executive Director of Culture and Talent there. We've just transitioned from one location to the next, and those of you that have made that transition from one location into a core restaurant, you know all that basically comes with that. Absolutely loving the challenge, soaking up every moment. And that's where we're at now. And been looking forward to this session, looking forward to getting to discuss some of the topics. This icebreaker, man, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I'm excited to jump right into it.
All right. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the icebreaker, it's called Tug of War, where we take two words that you seemingly can't live without in your business that are leadership critical options. And we force the guest to pick one. And so I'm going to give Peter, you have the first set of words here, and you've got to pick one. And you've got to tell us why you picked that one. Okay. You ready?
You got it. I'm ready. Fire away.
My man. So the first set of questions is going to be empathy or accountability.
Oh, man, you're hitting it hard really quick. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Empathy or accountability. All right. Let me go ahead. If I have to choose one, which is very, very difficult, I think I'm going to go with empathy on this one. I think I'm going to lean towards empathy. Now, it's a hard decision, and accountability is very, very important, right? We all know within our restaurant and as a leader, accountability is important. The empathy, though, I believe lays the foundation for accountability. That's why I'm going to go with that one, because I really feel like empathy is going to allow you to connect with your team. It's going to allow you to connect with the other leaders on your organization. It's going to allow you to establish trust and credibility that is then going to empower your ability to add accountability into the mixture. So I think if you try to go straight to accountability without empathy, you're going to fail, and you're probably going to suffer in more ways than you realize. So empathy, I choose because I believe it will empower accountability. Hard choice, but that's what I'm going with.
Awesome. I think that's an incredible answer, man. Okay, here we go. Let's get to the next set. Innovation or consistency?
Innovation or consistency. I love both. And innovation is the tag phrase, right? As soon as you say that, I'm like, ooh, let's innovate. Let's do something fantastic. But I think I'm going to have to choose consistency on this one. I really do. And here's why. I'm going to go with consistency because I believe that consistency is going to allow you to develop enough awareness of how everything functions and how everything works. It's going to allow you to create an expectation. That expectation that consistency brings is then going to kind of create the platform that says, now we can innovate here, or now we can innovate there. But if there is no consistency and you have innovation, man, you're going to be like a firecracker. You're going to be all over the place. You're going to be going off here and there, creating frustration. So I'm really going to go with consistency because I believe that consistency is going to open up the door to innovation, and it's going to do it in a way that's good for the business and good for employees, customers, everyone.
That's a fantastic answer. People close to me might say I'm a bit of a firecracker, but we're gonna keep it moving. All right. The next set of questions is going to be clear expectations or freedom.
All right. I'm honestly, this one, man, maybe I'm answering this too quick, but I'm going to lean towards clear expectations. And I'm going to say that because I'm in the world of leadership coaching, right? And I work with enough leaders across various organizations to know that if you don't have clear expectations, it feels like you're in bondage and there's absolutely no freedom. So I feel like expectations actually leads to freedom. When if there's no expectations, you feel like there's no freedom. You don't know what you can do or what you can't do, what you're expected to do or what you're not allowed to do. So I'm going to go clear expectations, final answer, and then that sets you up to be able to have a sense of freedom.
Okay, no, I love that. You're rocking and rolling. You're crushing it right now, Peter. You're batting 1,000 so far in my book. Here's the last one, and I think I know your answer to this one, but we just don't give it a whirl. Results or relationships?
Oh, you think I'm going to jump straight into relationships, don't you? I bet that's where you think I'm going. All right, all right. So I'm going to be very predictable, and I'm going to jump into relationships just like what you thought. Okay, and honestly, I just think that's the demand of the workforce. Now, maybe if you had asked me this like maybe 20 years ago when I was first entering into the workforce, the common answer probably would have been results. But we've transitioned. There's a new generation that's the most common generation in the workforce. We've gone through COVID. It's realigned everyone's expectations. And I really feel like without relationship, you're not going to get results. So I'm going to lean heavily into relationships. And I believe when you have those good relationships, I don't just believe it, I know it to be true. When you have those good relationships, you'll see results coming in like crazy. So final answer, very predictable, relationships.
Awesome. Thank you so much for participating in today's icebreaker. And we're going to just jump right into the conversation. And here's the deal. Before we get started, I don't want this to be a stagnant conversation. If you guys want to turn your cameras on, if you want to jump in and comment on anything, that's to the coaches, that's to anybody who's on the line today, please do so. You can raise your hand. We'll get to you. Or if you want to reserve all your questions till the end, there'll be a Q&A section at the end of this where we'll fill those questions. But we want to talk about turnover in this first part of our conversation. And turnover is probably as high as it's ever been in our organization right now. As far as some of the things that I've seen personally, some of the clients that we work with, they're dealing with turnover, not being able to get the right people for the right job. And so what are some strategies that you feel like you've either A, seen firsthand, or B, observed in the marketplace that you feel help retain great talent?
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Honestly, that's a fantastic question because that's a struggle now. And with such high turnover rate, it feels impossible to create any measure of consistency. And that's going to hurt ultimately your customer experience and so forth. So excellent question. Honestly, I get this from my own personal experiences, right? I've worked in situations where it's been not so great. I've worked in environments where it's been great. And then coaching leaders through the business, I have an opportunity to, by proxy, kind of be a part of their organizations as well. How do you attract and retain? What type of strategies? I'm going to hit one first that I just come to believe is vital, and that's vision and values. I really feel like you have to be very clear on your vision and values. And I'm sometimes a little, I don't want to say discouraged, but sometimes I'll see people on LinkedIn knocking vision and values, acting like they're insignificant or they're just kind of words you put on a wall. I get it. That's how they are to most organizations, but they shouldn't be. When I say vision and values, I'm talking about what drives your organization, talking about what kind of moves you forward going in a certain direction. I think that's so important. And I'll give you just a really quick synopsis. Lived in Arizona, a story. Lived in Arizona 8 years, right? During that time, I went hunting in the northern Arizona woods. One morning, I'm lost in the woods and I'm thinking, man, where in the world am I? I'm turning around. Everything looks the same. I have my young son with me. We still completely lost until I realize it's morning time and the roadway is to our east and the sun always rises on the east, right? So if I follow the sun, it will get me out of the woods to the path that I need to be on. I honestly feel like the vision and values are that guiding path, the sun to an organization. That's how you get through the woods of everything that goes on in the workplace. You have to have vision and values and make it a big deal. It involves your hiring, it involves your training, it involves your development, it involves your engagement with the community. I'm saying it's more than words. And there's a lot that can be said on that, a whole session on that, but we'll go to the next one. I honestly feel like your vision and values then create your brand, and people want to be a part of a really successful brand, and people want to be a part of a brand that elevates their sense of significance. And I'm not saying this is good, but they want to be a part of something. When they walk around town in that uniform after work or before work, people are like, oh, you work there? Like, that makes them feel good about it. The brand, but the brand is only a byproduct of your vision and values, right? Like Chick-fil-A, we are living at Chick-fil-A, we are living off the vision of the valley, right? It's a true Cassie, right? You go to support center, it's engraved right there outside the front door. It created the brand. Now, as a local Chick-fil-A, the broader brand of Chick-fil-A draws people in. That's going to attract, but what's going to retain is the brand that we create within our restaurant. We have to create a culture within our restaurant that is going to retain them, even though the overall national brand brought them in. And that's not something we can rely on the support center for. That's something our daily decisions create. That's something that the way we lead our business and our local vision and values create. So I believe the brand is so important to attract, yes, but then also retain. I'm going to go on this one too. Honestly, I know this is a big deal, but pay and benefits are an important hiring and retaining strategy for us leaders, for owners, for operators, for high-level leaders. We have to be competitive in our pay. And I would honestly tell everyone who makes those decisions that's on right now, what is your pay scale right now in your organization, and what does it compare to the other organizations or businesses similar to yours within your community? Honestly, when we relocated to Flower Mound, one of the first things I did is I called all of the local competitors and was like, hey, I just kind of curious, how are you hiring right now, and what's the pay scale? I wanted to make sure that when people came to me and said, hey, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking at them like, look, I'm going to hire the best because I want the best talent. But in return, we're going to give you better pay than any other place within our local community. So honestly, pay and the benefits that come along with that are an important part of that attraction feature, but also the retention. And then we already alluded to this. And Alex, you stop me, man. If I'm going too far, too long, you stop me, okay?
You're great. You do it. There's a few things that I'm trying to remember to pinpoint on some of the things that you said, but you're fine.
Okay.
Keep
Am
going.
I cool?
We're good. Yeah,
there's
perfect.
some things that they're all so vital.
Yeah. You're making this thing smooth selling for me. Go ahead, man.
All right. I'm going to go with this one. And I alluded to this when we were doing our tug of war, but I'm going to go with role clarity. Role clarity. And here's why I'm going to say this. And I know probably all of us, if not most of us, are living within, Chick-fil-A's right now. We're very engaged with Chick-fil-A's. I partner with Chick-fil-A's. I coach, right? And I consult with Chick-fil-A's. I am shocked at how many Chick-fil-A mid-level leaders, I'm talking shift leaders to director levels. I know we all have different names, but that range, who do not have role clarity in their position. When I ask them questions about what are the exact expectations for your role, what are the metrics, like certain questions, they don't know them. I'm shocked. And that should never be the case within Chick-fil-A specifically, but any organization. Role clarity is so important. If people are not clear about what their role is, what the expectations of the role are, so clear and so like concise with metrics, even supporting the role clarity, that they can walk out of the restaurant every day of their shift and say, I was a success today. Like, that's the sense of role clarity I want to give them, because we all know Chick-fil-A can be crazy. And I don't want people walking out remembering those two angry customers during lunch and they're super defeated by that, as opposed to remembering that, you know what, overall, in the grand scheme of the shift, they did a great job. We were successful today. I think role clarity provides that. And I honestly, development is a big deal. That's how you're going to retain talent. They want to be developed. They want to be developed. They want to be helped. They want a path forward. They want to know they can grow. They want to know they can get pay increases. And I'll end it with this one, and then we'll get to the next one. But trust, big deal. Trust. And a lot of times it's like, how do we earn trust? Here's one of the things I've really started to kind of land on. Trust and communication are synonymous within the workforce today. If the team doesn't have communication, they won't trust us, period. So if we are poor in our communication, we will never be able to have their trust. And we do this in more ways than we realize as far as poor communication. We have a really exciting idea at the highest level of the restaurant. And we're like, man, everybody's going to love this. So the next thing you know, we come into the restaurant the next day and we change things around and we move things around. And we're so excited because we're like, yes, this is going to make a big difference. And then our shift leader comes into the restaurant and sees everything we did and is like, what did you do? Like, what is happening? Everything they had known is now different today. Not everything, I know that's an exaggeration, but things that they were familiar with are no longer familiar. And what we were so excited about is now going to take a huge dip, possibly even a straight up failure, because of lack of communication. Lack of communication breeds distrust. That's what I'm saying. And so if you want to retain your most talented people, you got to help them trust you. So communication, over communicate. So threw out a whole bunch of things at you, but honestly, I think those are the key elements of being able to attract talent and then retain the talent, and not just retain them. I'm talking like they'll be loyal to you with those elements in place.
No, I love all of that, man. Particularly in the beginning when you start talking about vision and values, I think sometimes those items are underrated in our organizations, and I think a lot of times either high-level leaders, mid-level leaders, or beginning, they don't understand how the vision statement is used throughout the organization or throughout the business. Like your vision statement, you should be able to take your vision statement and pit it against any system, anything that you're doing in the store, anything that's happening there, and they should have a level of alignment between the two of them. And so if you look in your store and there's something going on that doesn't, that questions or challenges that vision statement, you might want to address that or look into why is that there's a disconnection between the two. No, a lot of great things there. And the last thing you were talking about in terms of that trust and communication being synonymous, I think we all fall in the trap of just thinking that, hey, it's going to automatically, it's like osmosis. It's going to go from our brain to that person's brain or that segment of the team's brain automatically without having to give the effort in communication. So I love all of that. And so I know there was a question, and I don't want to jump the gun a little bit. I think there was one question. You might have answered it. Let me look at it real quick. I think it came from Roderick, who is currently serving in LDP, but it was a really good question. And I wanted you to answer this before we move on to the next section. How does the culture of the restaurant impact turnover? I think you've already said it, but I want you to maybe just deliberately answer that question.
Oh, absolutely. It is one of the most significant impacts on turnover because culture is ultimately what the employees, the team members, it's what they feel when they're in the restaurant. And so going back to what I just said, if they feel like they can't trust you, they're going to be out of there. If you the example I gave of a shift leader walking in and having things changed around without them knowing, you do that to a shift leader, even your best shift leader enough, they're not going to stay with you very long. They're going to be gone. So culture and all that comes with it, the trust, the communication, the vision, the values, that is absolutely the most impactful on turnover for one of two things. Either number one, it's going to make them want to leave you, or number two, it's going to make you so inconsistent in who you determine needs to leave you, right? Like we all know sometimes people need to be let go. That happens. But your culture, your values, your vision, that's what creates the process of how do you know when someone needs to be let go. And if that type of culture is not in place, you may be letting go of the wrong people. And so both by way of who you let go and who leaves you, your culture is the biggest impact on those things. Absolutely.
No, I love that I've never really heard people use the idea of culture as a govern. I mean, as you said it, in terms of governing who needs to be let go of. Like, if you have a clear picture of what your culture looks like, I guess the bad apple starts to stick out when that's clear, or the rotten apple starts to clear out. So I love that. The next session we're gonna be talking about efficiency and connection, right? As our restaurants continue to get busier and busier and busier, year after year, we keep adding new sales channels, and certain customer behaviors are starting to change. How do you balance the need for speed and efficiency from our team members and getting them to continue to build genuine connections between the people that they work with and the customers on the other side of the counter?
Yeah, I love that question. That is a question that is being asked. It is a struggle that is being experienced literally every single day. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be in our restaurants. We're going to be living out that question, right? We're going to be figuring that out. I hopefully I can speak to it in a way that is practical and makes sense. But here's what I think. You mentioned like speed and efficiency, both in our operations, which to Chick-fil-A are a big deal, right? We're watching our CEM scores. We're watching our speed of service time. Like we are keeping track of speed and our efficiency. We're tracking that stuff a lot. But here's the thing. I really believe that all parties involved want speed and efficiency. I believe the owner of the restaurant wants speed and efficiency. But if you were to go to the average guest and say, hey, would you like to have a speedy and efficient experience with us today? I believe the guest is going to say, absolutely yes. And if you were to go to just a team member and say, would you like for your job to be able to done with speed and efficiency? I think the team member is going to say yes. So I really believe all parties want speed and efficiency. And I'll take it to the next level because we talked about kind of having that genuine connection with the team and the guest. I honestly believe that all parties also want genuine connection. I think the guest wants to come and they want some type of genuine connection to one degree or another. And the depths of that are vary by guests, but some type of genuine connection, or else why would they be coming to Chick-fil-A? We're the most caring company. That's what draws them to us. But I also believe that the team wants a genuine connection as well. So when I think about your question, I feel like we're asking a question that everyone, all parties involved, are interested in every element of the question, which then leads me to believe that the idea of speed and efficiency with genuine care on all parties, guests, ownership, and employees is a challenge, absolutely. But it's one of those challenges that doesn't get solved. And what I mean is sometimes when you're talking to leaders and they bring a challenge out, it needs to be fixed and it needs to be fixed like now. But sometimes they bring a challenge to your attention and there is no resolution. The truth of the matter is, it's a tension that exists, and it is a tension that is always going to exist. You don't fix it, you actually learn to manage it. And I believe that as leaders, we approach this very question. We have to understand if everyone wants everything we're talking about, speed, efficiency, and connection, then we are clearly dealing with a tension that we need to learn to manage. So the question is, how do we manage the tension? Because there's a lot involved in speed and efficiency and care. So I'll throw out some things that maybe will be helpful. I think in our mindset, we have to say that we're going to pursue both. We cannot pursue speed and efficiency at the sacrifice of genuine connection, but we cannot pursue genuine connection at the sacrifice of speed and efficiency. I genuinely believe we have to pursue both, and we have to come to terms with that. We are pursuing both. That's what it means for them to be attention. But I really believe that at the base of it is a bunch of human beings. The guests are human beings. The owner is a human being. The team member is a human being. So at the core of all of this, I believe, is an element of genuine humanity. And what I mean by that is ultimately, as we approach this tension and we pursue both, we have to never eliminate the humanity of all parties involved. Sometimes we eliminate the humanity, and I'll tell you how we do that. We want to elevate the humanity of the guest so much and say they need to have their food in X amount of time. So we treat our employees like non-humans, more robotic, and we drive them like they're a herd of cattle just trying to accomplish a task. So we treated one respecting their humanity, but we did not respect the humanity of the other. And then you could be in a completely opposite context where we elevate the humanity of the employees and we're so chill and so relaxed that the humanity of the guest is not even thought through. The fact that they have a 30-minute lunch break and we're going to take a ton of time and we're completely disrespecting their humanity and their time. So as we pursue both, I think we have to keep as the core of the idea is everyone's humanity. We're generally trying to respect every party involved, and we're trying to show genuine kindness to every party involved. Practical ways that we do that to the guest, I'll throw some things out. I honestly believe simple things like making eye contact with the guest, I think that goes a long way. I think simple thing like smiling to all of the guests goes a long way. And I know these things sound simple, but how many times have you walked into a Chick-fil-A and seen the average red shirt employee not making eye contact and not smiling, right? So these things sound simple, but we have to get back to these simple elements because they connect with the humanity of everyone involved. And not only that, but being time conscious, teaching our team and all of us to be time conscious of the guest. They have places to go. They have things to do. They have all kinds of stories. And then ultimately, I think making sure that what we do in interaction with the guest is always correct. So we can do this, guys. Honestly, we can do this and we can balance out the tension. I mean, look, I'll be at our restaurant tomorrow and I love being outside taking orders with the iPad, right? I do. Am I going to try to be really fast and very efficient? 100% yes. But am I going to try to respect their humanity and give them a sense of genuine connection? Yes. How am I going to do it? Eye contact, smile, being conscious of their time, making sure everything happens in a really correct way, giving them instructions on what happens next and where to go next and what to expect. All of those things are how I do both in a very succinct way. Now, to the team, how do we remember the humanity of the team so we're accomplishing all of this? Going back to what I said, giving them expectations, that's a big deal. I really feel like giving the team expectations shows them we care about your humanity. We're going to give you really clear expectations, and then we're going to train you on how to do it, right? We're not just going to give you expectations and kind of send you out there. We're going to train you in how to do it, and we're going to coach you in how to get even better and better. And then when we achieve these great incentives that we're trying to hit with time and efficiency, we're going to celebrate it. We're going to have incentives. We're going to celebrate when we break records. We're going to make a big deal about it. I believe if we do all of those practical things together, that is us managing the tension between operational efficiency, essentially, and between the genuine care of both the guest and also of the team. And that's what we're constantly going to be managing that. And hopefully some of those really practical tips I gave us, and there's probably more that people on here would have even more ways. But that's just some thoughts into how we balance that out and work with that tension.
No, I love that. And I really, really like the fact that you highlighted two things that stuck out to me. One, the humanity of all parties involved. I don't think we phrase the way we approach the team and the guests in that context. Obviously we say we're all people, but just looking at them at the human level. I think I talked to somebody a few months ago about this, like, hey, what's the human to human interaction versus, these titles and these labels we want to put on each other, right? Number one. Number two, just really, I think one piece of information that's not considered from a team member perspective is the humanity in looking at what that guest needs to do, like their time. Like, I think that's one of the things I feel like, I guess on a broader scale organizationally, I feel like that's a bit of a struggle for us, not us independently, but just across the board, where, we're trying to force our customers and train our customers to one particular thing, and they're looking at different options, and we have other options that we can offer them if we thought about their time and what their needs were. So I love how you frame that. And so we do have a question, but we are right up on the bumper for the next session, so I'm going to put that question in our Q&A session, Giovanna. But that was a great question. I kind of saw it when it popped up on the screen. We'll definitely get to that one.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your friend, Pastor John R. Adolph from the Antioch Church in Beaumont, Texas. And I just want to slip this in right quick so you'll never forget. It's all about progress over perfection here at TPE.
Tap into the Pivot Experience, where we help young, hungry entrepreneurs move on to the next step.